Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host
Chip.
Chip. There he is. What is going on, Chip? It's good to see you. I haven't seen you in at least 24 hours.
24 hours.
Man, 24. So today, Ripple XRP. I don't know. It seems to be this common theme that we keep getting into. Guess what? Crypto traders are crushing the job market. Bitcoin is now legal currency in El Salvador. Talked a little bit about that yesterday, and regulations are coming. And there was this great article talking about something that the Civil War has to do with stable coins that are being offered today. There's that and so much more to cover. I know we're going to get into it. I know it's going to be entertaining. You ready to kick this thing off?
I'm ready. Let's do it. Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain with Jeff and Chip.
You get caught up in that song, Jeff. So I just want to invite everybody, as we like to see, we don't always see it live, but you guys drop in what city you are coming from and what country. City and country, drop it in there. We'll throw some up on the screen as we move along. And what's
Nice.
going on, Jeff? How are you tonight?
Doing good, man. Doing awesome.
That's awesome. So
That's
many
right.
so many weird things going on as usual, but what I'm feeling really good about, I gotta say that we hear all kinds of things going on about the market, bear, bulls, bear. But I have to say, what I do feel good about is the mass adoption is really starting to take hold. We got a couple
Dude,
stories
everywhere
we'll
you look.
dive into, right? I mean, everyone's like, when's mass adoption? There's so many great things happening that really indicate we're already in the absorption of the mass adoption for not only crypto, but people being open to cryptocurrency. Like you said, El Salvador is, the very first country, there will be more dominoes to fall, but very first to recognize Bitcoin as legal tender.
It's got to
Huge.
start someplace.
It had to. And I got to tell you, it's really nice to be first at something. And
It's awesome.
they won't be the last. So
That's really cool.
It's going to be interesting to see how that pans out.
It was a vote of 62 to 84.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was a close vote. It was like really by a hair. No, not at all. So what it tells you is that unlike our Congress, which I don't know what they're doing at any given moment, we have some of our Congress here that we'll put up on screen tonight. But they're always off chasing, I don't know, rainbows. I don't know what they're doing. A lot of words,
bunny
a lot of
rabbits.
verbiage, talking, banter back and forth. Zero is getting accomplished.
Yeah.
That's the part that makes zero. It makes absolutely
And
no sense whatsoever.
no, it's amazing. When we queued up some good stuff to talk about today, and you talk about mass adoption, and we're seeing it. There's a lot of great projects that are being built out there that are leading us to mass adoption. But you bring up, when we start talking about El Salvador, we start talking about how they are now recognizing Bitcoin. They're adopting Bitcoin as legal tender is massive. But at the same time, and this was reported back in March, and I think, a lot of people overlook all the new partners that are coming on with RippleNet. And in fact, I think you added this one to the keep, but in fact, there's a bank that is a brand new partner of RippleNet. Now, the important part about all of that is that they've adopted RippleNet for instant cross-border settlement, not just for the messaging component like Swift, but have adopted it for the real-time instant settlement. And that is super meaningful. So El Salvador looks like it's one of those countries that is starting to see a bigger picture of adoption into this new financial class. And really, it's a whole new direction, right? It's a whole new generation of finances.
Exactly. And that's what I really like about it, that there's an openness that wasn't there before. There's people that are naysayers. I mean, we see Dalio, who really, I mean, just what, maybe 3-4 weeks ago, we covered a story on him where he's like, I don't know, Bitcoin's a scam, to, hey, waking up to saying, maybe we got to take a look at Bitcoin. Maybe we have to take a closer look. Maybe I was wrong. And when we use Bitcoin, Bitcoin is the entrance vehicle, right? It's the name brand. We talk about it all the time. It's the first mover advantage. But people come in for the Bitcoin, they stay for the altcoins, and they stay for the utility of the tokens, and they start looking at DeFi. They start looking at a lot of things, or they come in through Doge. Doesn't matter how they get here. The thing is they're here to stay, right? They come in and they go like, hey, I think we'll stay. Let's throw this up here on screen.
Yeah, appreciate that, John. That is awesome. And he's referencing Congress. He says at least they're consistent.
They are consistent
with doing nothing. It's Congress. But I'll tell you what, Bitcoin is the Burger King or the McDonald's. Then there's going to be other asset classes. You can go and you can get your $1.99 burger over at McDonald's, or you can go pay $24 and get a really nice burger down at the 954 Steak over at the W over on the beach in Fort Lauderdale. And that burger is absolutely outstanding. You're paying $24 for it, but it's an awesome burger, right? And then you have the McDonald's burger. So Bitcoin, McDonald's, and then you get other assets that are going to come out that are going to be that $24 burger, that you're just going to savor, and it's going to be amazing. It's kind of like amazing tech. It's like the XRP ledger. It's amazing tech. But
amazing tech, yeah.
Maybe it's not going to be, mass adopted and recognized like the Bitcoin at first. Because that's McDonald's.
Yeah. And for our vegetarian friends, they have good veggie burgers at other places. My wife's vegetarian, so she'd be like, well, let me see, what are they? She actually have one good at BurgerFi, has a really nice veggie burger, which I've actually had before, which is pretty decent. But yeah, you get the concept that you kind of get what you pay for, and there's always going to be that upgrade. There's always going to be something special. Last week, Jeff and I were down, last Friday, as a matter of fact, we were down at Bitcoin 2021, not 2020, Jeff, but unless we were in a time machine, which was also cool because someone brought up quantum time travel. I believe it was last night's. But I wanted to bring this up here. This is Max Kaiser, a known, a self-anointed Bitcoin maximalist, who says, and if you remember, actually Willy Wonka was the one to put something funny, and he goes, I hope it doesn't work out for him, so he doesn't have to keep dressing like Elton John. He was wearing like a white suit with the big glasses and the shirt, and he was doing Bitcoin baptisms. It's a little bit nutty, right? He was on stage running around saying F Elon and this and that, and he had brought Michael Saylor out on stage and interviewed Michael Saylor, and they got a big hug and everything. And he says the Lightning Network has effectively removed the use case for BCH, BSV, ADA, ETH, XRP, etc. Okay.
Yeah, right. I'm sure it has.
Well, Jeff, we're not done. I gotta get your reaction after this. I expect a rotation out of these failed projects back into Bitcoin. The USD has also been dealt a death blow, and you can see the flag there, and you can see the flags there. Not going to talk about them. Let's just say when right there. Okay, this guy reactions.
Oh man!
Oh my God, you're speechless, Jeff.
I am. I mean, I expect a rotation out of these failed projects back into Bitcoin. I mean, come on. I mean, it's absurd. This goes back to one of the things that you always bring up. There can't just be one stock. Could you imagine, talking about this? All these failed projects, Microsoft and Google and all these guys, they're going to fail. They're all going to come back into Amazon. It's all going to be about Amazon. That's right. It. And then forget about all the other stocks out there and all the other, technologies and reasons for being. I mean, why does someone have to be so delusional when they look at Bitcoin? Hey, it's a great project. Look at the class in general. Look at the whole space and look at the technology and the excitement of it. Why would you compare Ethereum with Bitcoin? Why would you compare, XRP with Bitcoin? Each one of them has its own purpose. Bitcoin can't do what the XRP ledger can do. Bitcoin can't do what Ethereum can do. Ethereum isn't really necessarily a store of value, but it is a smart contract platform, and it allows you through their technology to roll out other ERC20 tokens. Bitcoin doesn't really do that unless you fork it. XRP has its purpose across border transaction payments, and the XRP ledger has technology that hasn't even really been tapped yet on the mainstream level. And we haven't even looked at all the other classes out there. So it's just, man, it's just so meaningless to even, have that guy comment and take up airspace.
Oh, but wait,
I mean, it's kind of crazy.
But wait, there's more. The comments are the best section.
Yeah, right.
Comments are the best. So there he is doing a Bitcoin. There you are in Miami right there. Jungle Link says, Bitcoin's great for what it does. S-heads like you make people reject it. Bitcoin doesn't do everything, nor would we want it to, right? So Air Force Dave says, I used to love watching Kaiser. I can't stand him anymore. Hubris is repulsive. Nomad hater. Lightning Network. I mean, the Lightning Network, Jeff, isn't even, it's like a sidechain disaster, right? And it's like peer-to-peer, which probably is going to cause all kinds of regulation issues down the road. Good luck with that. And then I don't know, did we get the hammer toe in there? Let's see it. Where's his? He was in there somewhere.
You want to share it?
Matt Hamilton from sorry. Let me just put it out there again. So there we go. So Matt Hamilton says that is hilarious. Where do they go to find these idiots? Of course, Matt from Ripple X where do you go to find someone like that? I mean, it's one thing to say I love this project. Even Bitcoin itself is embarrassed by him, according to Milad there. Then you got Nomax. How else can one gauge near instantly the quality of gray matter in the head across the internet or in person? Also like the sandbox area for those who won't wash. Really been nice not having very others vomiting. Idiotic word salads at 130 decibels. Matt says, look, I'm not a fan of Roger Vera, but you are literally replying to somebody who went full bomber on stage a week ago. Now, Jeff, people probably don't get that comment, but if you knew Steve Ballmer, who became, after he succeeded Bill Gates as the CEO of Microsoft, do you remember the time, what he's talking about by going full Ballmer?
Let's pull it up.
Let's pull it up. I got it right here. Let me, I got to go ahead and share my screen again. And then I've got to do some special mojo. It's
amazing to me. I mean, this is coming on the heels of the Bitcoin 2021 conference in Miami. And the one thing that I saw at the Bitcoin 2021, the periphery, as you start looking into it and seeing what's going on over there, there's a lot of other technologies that are kind of represented there. And, it's, well, go ahead, play this.
Here's full Ballmer right here.
Get out! Get out! Get out! Come on! Come on! Give it on for me! Woo!
Okay, that's enough of that. Oh, he's still screaming in my ear.
Fired up.
I kept playing over here. It was like playing in my ear. I was like,
is worth $500 million.
Yeah, he went all crazy. Yeah, he went all crazy like that. So that's basically, that's funny because that's what Matt's comment is referencing right there, which I love because he went a little. He's like, he did go full Ballmer. That's what we brought up in the beginning of it. He goes, I'd set this one out. Pano says you're hilarious. Ellen, Lightning Network's a closed and centralized network that needs pre-funding. That was the other thing I forgot about. You have to pre-fund the Lightning Network. Maybe try using Bitcoin and XRP's blockchain, right?
Boom. Why not? Why not integrate? Why not have that overlap and be a little bit agnostic? I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me. That statement, awesome. Why not use Bitcoin across the XRP blockchain?
Right.
Use it with the XRP ledger. Oh, it's awesome.
Remember, spend the bits you could use. We had him on the show.
And he's on the show.
You can move Bitcoin from point A to point B 3 to 4 seconds for less, like tenth of a penny. I mean, it's insane, right?
Yeah,
it's right here. And one of the cool things about that was he brought up on this. Let me throw this up here. Let me see if I can get this up at a new.
It's been a while. We should bring him back on, find out what's going on with him.
Well, he was just on Ripple X this week with Matt Hamilton, by the way. So now that you mentioned it, so he says, "Look, the Lightning Network. Both parties must be online at the same time as sending." Jeff, are you online? Jeff, I'm sending you Bitcoin. Are you online? Jeff, are you there? It's like, Jeff, are you online? Yeah, I'm online. Jeff. Okay, let's go. And then and then on the ledger, users don't even have to be online to receive payments. All right.
It's so crazy. It's kind of like the old can and string trick. Remember, you'd have to get the can and you'd stretch it out and you could talk to each other and you have to
you could hear each other because you were right next to each other. That was how it worked. That was like essentially how it worked, right? Number two, the huge capacity constraints on how much you can send. Two, for the ledger, it's like supports both low value and high value payments. Didn't have any constraints at all. Three, Lightning's not battle tested. It's still experimental. And three, XRPL is highly scalable, sustainable with over 62 million transactions settled and counting. So there's that, right? So I mean, it kind of really took them to task here. You might want to learn a few things about XRP too, why XRP is the most misunderstood cryptocurrency. I think this, I don't know if we did this thread or not, but I have to tell you, it was a really, really awesome thread where he kind of outlined everything here. Let me see if it pops up here or not. Let's see. Yeah, why it's the most misunderstood cryptocurrency. Centralized and Banker's Coin had two of the most used phrases by the XRP critics, but is it true? Fortunately, there's too much misinformation spread either by ignorance or on purpose, or if you're Max Kaiser and you're a maximalist, the majority doesn't want you to devote time and do their own research, so they repeat what they hear. Now, Banker's Coin, all that stuff, and what they see from others. In 2011, 3 developers began developing the XRP ledger, which as we know is the XRPL. Blockchain technology would not use mining or proof of work and had its limitations. The goal was to create a better Bitcoin with a more sustainable, there's that word, Jeff, sustainable, green, and advanced consensus. Yeah, and the consensus algorithm, which is a lot different because it uses validators versus the mining and the proof of work, which is really taxing on energy.
Well, when they were referring sustainable, were they talking about sustainable back in 2011?
You know, it's a good point, Jeff. I don't know that. Who knows if they were actually referring to it, but I think in retrospect we can do it since it's a newer thread. They created 100 billion XRP with no way to create anymore, and later they decided to start a company now called Ripple to work with the community and also pursue its mission and business model. It was still early days, but they knew they were still trying to figure out what worked best. Here's a fun fact: XRP is deflationary, and every transaction cost fee is burned, which slowly reduces its supply. But at 100 billion, it's going to take some time before that puppy gets reduced, right? You know, you compare 100 billion versus Bitcoin's 21 million. Ultimately, they decided to focus on the cross-border payments, improving the banking infrastructure, and the banking system was run on old, broken 1970s SWIFT corrupt system. They wanted to revolutionize the financial system, solve a multi-trillion-dollar problem. Today, the company uses XRP, the XRPL, for liquidity management. So that's just a little bit of it, but you can just see, if you just spend a little time, you can just Google it, Jeff. But what is the fear with these tribalists, especially the Bitcoin maxis? What are they afraid of?
That's a good question. I think it kind of has gone beyond being afraid of anything, and it's got to a point. Hey, you guys can block these guys if you want. If there's any mods in here, there's no problem with locking these guys out. So that's okay. But if not, let me just boom. So but it's interesting. I mean, this whole thing is interesting. I kind of lost a little bit of what my thought on that, but I wanted to bring up because I think it's going back to the Bitcoin maxis. Why are they being so tribal? In lack of the idea of professional sports and being super tribal on the professional sport level. People get super tribal in different, there's a lot of division, and sometimes people will simply jump on the bandwagon because they want to be part of a team. So these Bitcoin maxis, without understanding the rest of the ecosystem, they just want to be part of Team Bitcoin, and that's it. That's all it is. It's not because they've researched other projects. It's not because they know other projects. And, that's it. They just want to be on Team Bitcoin because Bitcoin's 65,000 and because some YouTuber bought a Lamborghini with Bitcoin, and there's Bitcoin millionaires and Bitcoin billionaires. That's their visibility. So that's why they're going to be narrowly focused. I mean, it's interesting too, because this goes back. I can remember one of the first YouTube videos that I made. I had started talking about XRP, and one of the critiques I got from somebody was, this isn't your space. You don't belong here. You're stepping into Alex Cobb territory. You don't belong. You can't make videos here. Yeah. And then people just beat up on this guy.
Was that Alex Cobb saying that? No.
It might have been. I don't know. But I'm just referencing that. I thought it was interesting. and it just, whoops, block these guys. Come on.
Yeah,
So, so it's just funny, but you get a lot of that, you get a lot of that stuff going on. But hey, check this out, because so here we have, the Bitcoin going on, and you have all this concept of, we're talking about decentralized money, a decentralized monetary system right now. And I'm not even sharing this. I got to put this up because it's really cool. Kind of fits in a little bit into the narrative and to the theme, but how the Civil War shapes the future of stablecoins. So what's interesting about this is that the Civil War, post-Civil War, we had a decentralized monetary system. So think about banks and states had their own legal tender. And that was done away with post-Civil War, where they centralized our monetary system under the supervision of the government, under the federal government, under the Fed eventually. But it's interesting because here we are going back and talking about a decentralized monetary system again, Chip, and now these, the Bitcoin guys want to stay centralized. The fiat guys want to stay centralized. All of these, what you could call them, reference the crypto space, the digital assets, the altcoins, whatever you want to refer to them as, are bringing back the decentralized nature of this ecosystem, of this monetary ecosystem. And, there's reasons why there's going to be a little bit of angst, from the powers that be, to see this new system unfold. And in fact, there was a law that was issued that you can't have any other coins. Look, in 1864, Congress declared that no one shall utter or pass any coins intended for the use and purpose of current money. And so that's why there's still going to be a little bit of tension between the stable coins and the other tokens, and all of this coming up to the Fed level.
Well, there's always been that power struggle. Yeah, the power struggle is rough, and it's like, the problem with the current system, a lot of the central banking that we have now is it's a system built on debt. And you borrow money from the Federal Reserve, and then all of a sudden now you got to borrow $1 and you got another dollar or a peso or whatever it may be. And what's happening is the world's starting to wake up. People are starting to come together, starting to bond. They're starting to, and it's a global phenomenon where they're starting to realize that, I really not trusting of a centralized bank. We don't know what their ledger looks like. We don't know what their balance sheet looks like. We don't know really much of what's going on there. And probably the best way we could take a closer look or sort of figure it out would be like, hey, what's going on over here? What's Bitcoin? What is Ethereum? What's Litecoin? What is XRP? Hashtag, HBAR? What is all this stuff going on over there, right? And it's almost easier to go ahead, instead of putting $1 or $100 of fiat in the bank, take a $100 flyer on something. Let me check out this project. This looks interesting. Sounds like they're solving a problem, in the payment space or whatever space. You look at like Polkadot, interoperability, or you look at something like, anything that's happening, solving some of the issues like with Matic, now called Polygon, that's solving with some of the fees, the heavy gas fees that are going on in Ethereum. People start looking at this, Jeff, and it's like this right here, the system of debt we have. They're trying to reset it with, I had to retweet one of Elon Musk's tweets today, because he said, I only own like a $50,000 home down in wherever. That's all I own. I'm like, yeah, and I retweeted and said, in the future you'll own nothing, and you'll be so happy about it. Because remember that was the narrative they were preaching. Like in 10 years, nobody will own everything. You'll all be owned as slaves. And you'll be so happy, though. Gosh, you'll have everything you need. That narrative is sort of playing out. So there's a big power struggle going on right now. You've got at that hearing today. You had one of the guys from one of the clowns from some. I don't know who this guy is, but he said that each country should outlaw Bitcoin and make it so you can't convert it to fiat currency. No. Right. Yeah, that's something we shouldn't think about doing. But yeah, I saw that going all over Twitter today, and it was just a ridiculous comment, Jeff.
Yeah, it's interesting. So all of this stuff going on, we talk about what's going on from a congressional level, and these are bills that get stuck. They're introduced and get stuck. So here's another one for regulatory clarity that's required. It's called the Stable Act to amend the Federal Deposit Insurance Act to provide the classification and regulation of stable coins and for other purposes. And so this one, was let's see, it had two co-sponsors. Let's look at who they were real quick. You had, look at this. So you had all Democrats, the Stable Act. So then you really need to dig in. And I think I dug into this one before and kind of dissected and tore it down. But here you have these three individuals talking about a stable coin, the Stable Act, but you really have, dig into the text. The point is, there's a lot of these bills that are being presented. You have to read through them to truly understand their intention. But then they get stuck. Good, bad, indifferent. All of these acts are getting stuck in Congress. And this was from the previous Congress, from the 116th. And this was from November 2020. So this is from this past November and still stuck. It's like, and this is all relevant. These are all relevant things that Congress should be focused on discussing. Instead, I find the government ship, Congress and the SEC and the CFTC, they all seem to be like spinning around. It's
They
like
are.
when they were, when they were little kids, they were spinning around seeing who could get dizzy the fastest. You leaving us? Chip has
No.
disappeared. You're frozen. There he goes. All right. So anyhow, so I thought that was kind of interesting to kind of reference, where we're going with these different bills in reference, going back to the whole, maxi class and, the Bitcoin maxis. What exactly is transpiring with the Bitcoin maxis when you're getting the same centralized thought process coming out of, Congress already? So here you have these brand new asset class in development, and you have all of these technologies. Why would you want to completely silence all of this great technology? Why not try to let it breathe as it's doing in other parts of the world?
Yeah, Jeff. So what's happening in the comments is they're in slow mode right now because of all those spammers. So see if you can go in there. If you can go into YouTube and fix that, because right now that's kind of what's happening. That's why the comments aren't coming up. They're using multiple accounts and just spamming as usual. Here they are again.
Yeah, you just got to keep blocking them, unfortunately.
Yeah, I can only block.
Oh, we got enough mods in here to block them. They can go through.
We do, but it put us in slow mode, and that's what's happening. So now they're not able to get to them fast enough. So that's part of the issue right there.
How do we get in slow mode?
Probably because of the spammers going crazy and slamming the things in there. So I don't know.
Thank you, Google. Thank you, Google.
Yeah, thank you. They can't they can write an algorithm that can censor stuff, but they can't figure out how to certain behaviors. Right? This is amazing. I wanted to talk about this. So in El Salvador, they're looking at a different way to potentially mine Bitcoin, and it's volcano-powered Bitcoin mining goes from the Twitter idea to state policy, just like that, Jeff. So President Nayib Bukele is moving on multiple fronts to make El Salvador an unlikely Bitcoin mecca. And there you go. And it's like, so yeah, and Jeff, he does have laser eyes in his profile. He's turning up on the heat. When you like to write stuff like that, turning up the heat on his country's fast evolving Bitcoin fling. Less than 14 hours, right? It is pretty cool. A bill to make Bitcoin legal tender in Central American nation. Bukele says he's directed El Salvador's geothermal company, the Geo, right? To let power-hungry Bitcoin miners plug into his country's volcanic resources. Connecting Bitcoin mining operations with state-run geothermal plants could be a lucrative tie-up. I've just instructed the president of La GeoSV, our state-owned geothermal electric company, to put a plan to offer facilities for Bitcoin mining with very cheap, 100% clean, 100% renewable, zero emissions energy from our volcanoes to the 39-year-old president. He further pledged this is going to evolve fast. And there you go. Dude,
and they're taking a note out of Iceland's agenda over there as well, because you have Icelandic facilities that are mining Bitcoin, same thing, and they're using geothermal power to power the Bitcoin plants. So why not? You know, if you have it, use it. This is where the ingenuity comes in. You don't need Brad Garlinghouse to compare
No.
XRP to Bitcoin. You don't need Elon Musk coming out and bashing Bitcoin because it uses too much energy. The private market will take care of its own, and it's going to figure out a way to make it more efficient. Nobody wants expensive mining, because if it's expensive, then it's too costly to mine the asset. If it's too costly to mine the asset, nobody's going to do it. They're going to find another mechanism. Nobody wants to pay $5,000-$6,000 a month in electric bills and make $1,000 or $500 in Bitcoin revenue. They want $1,000 and make $5,000 or $6,000, you know, per thousand spent. You go over to El Salvador, you go to Iceland, you go over to other countries where energy is cheap, maybe more efficient, and maybe you're using the surplus. That one company we talked about, they're using the burn off when they're pulling oil out of the ground, you know, and they're finding new ways to do it. That's what it's all about, you know. So, man, good point bringing that up.
Yeah, I hope I got that sneeze out of there. But yeah, this is Nikola Tesla, where he said energy's in the air. Unfortunately, he kind of got raided. They kind of took all his stuff, and you know we can't have that. So that would put an end to that. Okay, so yeah, we are banning them as we can. That's one thing
As
we
they
can
come
do.
in.
Yeah, let me
They come in, you just block them.
just block them.
And the
Block
mods
them.
can block them too. You don't even have to put them in a timeout.
No, you
Just
can block
them.
You can block. So the
Just
other
don't
thing,
accidentally block somebody else, and then we got to figure out how to get them back. That's all.
get them out of jail. And so they said the sudden thought was this: that El Salvador has hundreds of megawatts of untapped geothermal potential, as well as a network of underutilized power plants. Jeff, you hear that? They're underutilized. Now that's a different take. That's a different take than energy wasted or misplaced energy. Not underutilized. They should be cranking out more energy, but they're not. Why? Because you have a smaller nation. They can't quite. So what you do is you bring the miners down there. Now, Jeff, what was that story we did last month where we talked about them? Some of the, I think it was the oil. They had some of the burn from that, which was like a gas product that they said that in itself could create free energy because it just got burned. And like, there's another ingenuity. So all of a sudden, we go from the narrative that started off in January 2021 of green, clean, blah, 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 Bitcoin's bad, to, oh, we have volcanoes that can power it. Oh, we have places in the US that are burning this stuff, which could be used for mining. So we've kind of solved that very quickly. And it was something you called early days. You said, hey, we're gonna get smarter. We're gonna figure this out. And bam, there you go. And
figuring it out.
Yeah, and he says, so probably somebody wants to set up a mining facility with cheap, clean, renewable energy, but just a thought. I thought about it right now. That's what he told a crowd of 25,000 people. He said, every day is going to be a new idea. So you see the ingenuity and, you know, youth too. Here's the president who's 39 years old. So that tells you something as well. Youth is on the side. So Jeff, if you want to, did you able to queue up those two videos? If you don't have them, I probably can grab one of them here.
I've got them queued up.
Yeah, let's take a look at the coin, the coin one first.
All right, just looking over here. All right.
Well, before we do that, I just wanted to let's just kind of preface it with this real quick, just so we can kind of set the stage. But Senator Warren attacks cryptocurrencies over ransomware and energy use. And there was a hearing on central bank digital currencies today. The subcommittee chairwoman, Elizabeth Warren, opened up her commentary with a salvo against cryptocurrency. So that's kind of like the precursor to this. If you want to throw that up there.
So I'm trying to figure out which one it is. I've got her on all three of them.
Well, just throw them up there. I don't think it really matters. There's no specific order.
There we go. All right.
It doesn't really matter.
Let's stop streaming. Let me share my screen. I got to share my
the video.
Share the. There we go. All right. Let's do one by one. Let's bring this one over here first. Boom. There we go. Let's add it to the stream. And now we're ready to go. There we go. Let's see what we got here.
described, digital currencies offer a lot of potential advantages over cash in your wallet or even the electronic balance on your debit card.
All right, there we go. That's all we need to hear.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Warren. You're now excused from the subcommittee hearing. We know you're the chairwoman, but thank you. Appreciate it.
That's great.
Take care.
Perfect.
Goodbye.
All right, let's dissect this.
Let's see what else she has to say.
You don't have to worry about carrying cash around and losing it or having it stolen. If you want to send money to somebody else, digital currency can be easier and faster.
There you go.
But
She
Jeff,
said it all.
Now, the thing is you don't have to worry about carrying it around with you or getting it stolen. This is what you come up with? Carrying it around with you, because God forbid nobody could take this from you.
No, I've never lost my wallet.
Yeah, your money or your life.
My credit card. All right, let's see.
Let's
See what
go.
else shows.
But in order for those advantages,
Oh, but I knew there was a but.
But that negated everything she just said. But.
And she was talking about digital currencies too. So she's probably referencing the central bank, digital currency, maybe crypto. All right, let's see what else. Let's
is to be realized, the digital version of cash needs to be secure, stable, and accepted everywhere. Your local grocery store is only going to accept digital currency if it knows that the digital version of the $100 that you use to pay for your groceries is actually worth $100.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, yeah, but what if it's worth more? You see, well, what if what you have is $100 this week, and then next week it's worth $300? So what?
if
Jeff,
it's
so
worth 50?
well, Jeff, wait, look at what she's trying to like roll into here. Let's listen to the rest of it.
In USDC, backed by what is it, Stripe or Square?
I don't know.
All right, here we go.
Your babysitter is only going to keep showing up if she knows that the digital $20 you sent her is really worth $20.
Or I could just send it via Zelle.
And she would know, right? You could send her Zelle, or you could send her what's the other one? The other
Venmo.
Venmo. I can Venmo it to her. That's what my kids use, Venmo.
So let's talk about using cryptocurrency like
Yes, cryptocurrency.
There we go. Let's get into it, Jeff. Let's talk about it.
What's up, Jackie? Appreciate
Jackie's
you.
back. Thank you for all you do night after night. Thank you so much, Jackie. Thank you for showing up night after night, and everybody else as well. It's awesome. Thank you very much.
All right, here we go.
Go ahead.
See what else she has to say.
Bitcoin
Oh, Bitcoin.
to pay for groceries or to pay for a babysitter. Dr. Narula, is the value of cryptocurrency like Bitcoin generally stable and reliable?
Ooh.
Here comes the setup, Jeff.
See how she set up that
at
question?
all.
And look at her with that. You see her, the Twitter of her eyes, kind of looking at her. Is it? Come on.
Is
We
it
prepared this one.
stable?
We planned this one. It's not stable. Come on, don't shock me. Don't change what you said earlier. Here we go. Ready?
Thanks for the question, Senator Warren. No, it is not.
Oh, of course. Really?
Oh, no.
which it isn't. Bitcoin not stable. We know that. But
No,
nobody's
it's-
running around buying their groceries with Bitcoin right now.
But Jeff, hang on a second. I'm gonna just at this present time, right now, just as we are talking right now, 37,000 fiat USD notes to buy one Bitcoin. 37,000 fiat.
A lot more valuable than
Now
the dollar.
next week, let's check back in and see what that's worth, and wonder if it's worth the same amount.
Exactly. And this goes back to going all the way, So let's go. We can look day to day and they're all giddy. Oh, it's not stable. It's not stable. We're right on our narrative. Let's go back 10 years. Go back 10 years ago and see the valuation of all the assets 10 years ago. That's all you have to look at. So you go 10 years, you look at Bitcoin, which was single digits or below. Now it's 35,000 a month ago. So it was 65,000. But again, now let's go back a year, then go back 2, then 3, then 4. And all you see is a steady rise in the valuation of that asset as opposed to the devaluing value of the dollar. And so now if you look at the other assets, you have some ups and downs, and you can look at XRP and Ethereum and all these other new ones. And if we go back, who knows? Whatever happened in the past 10 doesn't mean it's going to happen in the next 10. Well, we see the development of where this space is going. And I'm looking forward to sitting here 10 years from now and looking back and saying, you remember 10 years ago when these guys were having this conversation, when they should have been looking at the bigger picture, but they were just narrowly focused in on how giddy they were to prove a point here. All right.
But did they wait? They missed the main point where a year ago today, Bitcoin was worth $9,000. They somehow
correct.
omitted that, and it's worth 4 times that today. So, and if you look, and Jeff, to your point, 10 years ago, what did the house you're living in cost? Right? What was that? What did that cost? And that same amount of money, what does that buy today? So, okay, let's hear them out and see what they have to say about that, because no, it's not stable.
Unfortunately, 10 years ago.
Let's hear this out. Let's hear them out.
Unfortunately, when I bought my house, and no, all right, let's look.
Unfortunately,
Unfortunately, what?
You called that.
we just witnessed the value of the entire cryptocurrency ecosystem dropping by about 40% over the course of the last 2 months.
Damn false narratives. I get so sick of it. I'm so sick of it. You know, we've seen it drop by 34, 5, 40% in the past 2 months. But it went up. But it went up by a huge amount before that. Huge.
Right.
I mean, massive increase. Back in December, XRP sitting at 20 cents, even lower. Today, sitting at $1. I don't care. It was $1.50, $1.60. Now it's $1, but it was $1.60, a month ago, whatever. But in December and a year ago, it wasn't sitting at $1, and this goes with all the other assets. Come on, look at this, the smugness, the attitude, the way they're trying to phrase this stuff, and they have no idea what they're talking about, which is the best part.
Now look at the big picture, guys. It says cryptocurrencies were created to generate wealth for many, to fund the future. Singapore is the experiment for building the future. Now the rest of the world will use crypto to do the same. It's a really good observation.
Nice.
A very, very good observation.
Yep.
So there you go.
Who is this person? Is there more of this? This is entertaining.
Yeah, play a little more, Jeff. Let's let it roll.
Yeah. And how much money was that? Do you know in dollars what we think the value of that drop was?
I think it was, I believe it was close to $1 trillion.
About $1 trillion that this thing dropped. But think about what it means for an individual seller. Like
Goodbye. This is so painful. It's so painful, gut-wrenching to watch how they're creating a fictitious narrative and preying on the naivete of all their devout worshipers that are bowing down at the altar of these politicians, hoping for just a trickle. Just give me a little bit of penance. Give me a couple pennies of your wealth.
Well, Jeff,
give me just some dribble of your knowledge, just a little bit of sweat off your brow so I can enrich myself with your intelligence.
Jeff, is this the time to bring up the fact that she rolled into a cush job, making $400,000 a year, teaching very few credit hours at Harvard, I believe it was, and she got that gig and some of the other gigs by pretending to be a Native American. And when it turns out that when she actually did the test, she wasn't even close. I mean, she wasn't even close to being Native American. It was like nothing. It was a complete fraud. And again, so that's somebody who can aspire to be a U.S. senator, tell us how to spend our money and everything else, but built and made a whole career making $400,000, teaching like 8 credit hours of classes. This is just incredible, right? And there was no, oops, sorry. It's just because her mama or papa had high cheekbones. She just assumed she was Native American. It didn't matter if she was. Didn't have
insulting.
Right.
It's so
pretty
insulting.
It's very insulting.
Every time I see this stuff and they talk about cultural misappropriation, and it's just so insulting. It's so insulting, just everything. And now you're listening to what they have to say. It's even more insulting. Now they're speaking down to the people, right? And this is coming on the heels of this whole thing with the FBI catching the hackers and getting their Bitcoin account, and all this other stuff, and just misinformation and misunderstanding, incorrect facts and incorrect terminology. And they just spread it out there to the masses because they're trying to promote a narrative. Look how bad these crypto assets are. Look how bad cryptocurrencies are, because everybody, the majority of the population has an attention span of about 5 seconds. It's that time frame
I'm sorry,
that
Jeff.
it's
What'd you
up
say?
on TV, and that's it.
Did you say something, Jeff? I lost you there. I had 5 seconds.
Oh,
Hey, how
were we
about
talking
this?
about
Thank you so
something?
much for
I
joining
don't
us.
remember.
Let's start
There we
with
go.
This is where we answer a question. Senator Ward, thank you for joining us. Tell us more about the time you had a cultural misappropriation that spanned 45 years and flew you into a multimillionaire and jobs and everything else and how you took advantage of the system.
Hey,
Anyway.
wait a
digital
minute.
currency.
Wait a minute. Pause that for a second.
Yep.
Up and down
Yep.
every day a lot. You
Okay.
started the hearing with some pretty harsh words for them.
We're in the same
saying
clothes.
they failed to deliver on some of the promises of a more inclusive financial system. They're volatile. They're not good for spending. In your view, do they need to be regulated further? And is there something specific in mind that you have that would sort of bring this area under control better?
So this was our first hearing on digital currencies, and we had a chance to talk with experts, bring in a lot of senators around it. But the bottom line was that what's happening right now in cryptocurrency, like Bitcoin and Dogecoin, it's a wild west out there. And it makes
it's so
not
hilarious.
a good way.
What's happening with, Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Jeff?
The only two cryptocurrencies that I know because it was in the news. I've only heard of Bitcoin and Doge because those are the two in the news. So I'm going to reference those because that's all I know. I don't know anything else. The rest I'm reading from this plaque in front of me because I don't know a damn thing about cryptocurrency, blockchain, digital assets, digital currency, finance, economics, or anything to do with the international inner workings of the entire world. How about that?
Jeff, are we sure she's not a partial Native American? She told us she was, but she did tell us. So let's see what happens
I'm
here.
pretty sure she's not.
Okay.
To buy and sell things, and not a good investment, and an environmental disaster. So,
Environmental disaster.
Dude,
Environmental disaster. That's it.
this is the follow-up question. Have you heard about El Salvador, how they've made it a legal tender? Oh, yeah. By the way, did you find out how they have underutilized power plants are going to be mining it? And have you heard about the volcano power? Have we heard about that? Or are we just stuck on the whole Bitcoin Doge thing?
Dude, volcano power is the coolest thing.
We got to have a shirt.
Ever.
Volcano power. Bitcoin
How
volcano
cool.
power.
How cool is volcano power? I mean,
Dude,
solar power, wind power, volcano power. I mean, it sounds awesome, right?
Well, let's start it with one more. Start out with the 60s. Flower power, solar power, wind power, and then volcano power. That's just like...
dude, I want volcano power. I'm all over that. That's awesome. We need to figure out how to tap into our volcano.
Yeah, man.
Core,
get into that volcano
power.
Tap it, man.
There, it's deep. It's powerful.
It's infinite megawatts.
It's strong. It's infinite. It never goes away. And if you can tap into that power, it's not ugly. You don't put big windmills up everywhere, and you don't have to have things in the ocean, and you don't need big solar panels that are frying the birds that are flying over them and all sorts of stuff. You have volcano power. Man, it's awesome. I love it. It's the greatest thing. El Salvador, the volcano power.
You bet we do.
So that was pretty much it, Jeff. It's just I know that we had another clip from, I don't know how much more we really can take, but
oh my god, it's freaking hilarious.
The whole hearing was just nuts, and thank God someone like Christian Carla was there, bringing some like truth bombs and laying it down.
We have a statement from him. We got a statement from him too.
Yeah, I think he's on there as well. Like he was.
I got it right here.
Yeah,
I got it queued up.
Well, he kind of comes in and out a little bit times. I think that was the first time he appeared, but throw it up there if you can.
Right.
I'd love to.
All right.
I'd love to see what that's all. What.
All right. Oh, I gotta put it over on this screen. Hang on a second. Let me get rid of this. Hang on a minute.
Yeah, while you're doing that, I want to talk about this other story we're going to jump into after this, where MicroStrategy is selling debt. They're actually selling debt to buy more Bitcoin. Whoa, Jeff. That's like people like remortgaging their house, remortgaging their house to buy Bitcoin. It's starting to get a little nutty right there.
That's right. So how do we get volcano power in Florida? Volcano power.
Oh, we have nuclear power.
Volcano.
I mean, nuclear power is pretty clean too if you don't worry about the waste and what you end up doing with it. But we just send that off to China, so we're good. Everything's cool.
That's true. Yeah,
we used to. They won't take it anymore. But there's
no.
But
they still have a lot of land mass.
We need to dig down. There's always water. There's got to be a volcano down there, underground volcano.
We get down into into the core. You
Well, I
tap
see there's
into
a lot
the
of under,
center.
yeah, into the
Awesome.
deep core of the magna, whatever they call that
The
crust where you
magma.
magma is what it is. Magna
Magma.
magna is like a comic book character or something. But anyway,
All right.
yeah, throw it up there. Let's throw that puppy up there. Oh no, we got the same one. Oh no,
Oh, wait.
God save us.
She introduces her.
Okay,
There
okay,
she's-
good deal. Christian
Am I
Carlo,
at the 40? Yeah, I'm at the here. We go.
former FTC.
Mr. Giancarlo, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chair Warren, Ranking Member Kennedy, and members of the committee. I'm Chris Giancarlo, Senior Counsel at Wilkie Farr and Gallagher. I'm here today on behalf of the Digital Dollar Project, a nonpartisan think tank formed over a year ago to discuss the merits of a tokenized form of a U.S. central bank digital currency that we term the digital dollar. I commend this committee for considering the challenges and opportunities of a digital dollar, including its potential for greater access, inclusion, and betterment of the financial system. 12 months ago, we proposed a tokenized bearer instrument issued by the Federal Reserve, distributed through the two-tiered banking system, and operated alongside physical currency and commercial bank money. This digital dollar would mirror many of the properties of physical cash, enjoying the full faith and credit of the US government, but in a digital form.
Thoughts?
Well, there's not enough really to give a thought. I mean, it's the thing he's heading up, that whole digital dollar, project. I really would love to hear more of his thoughts about. So, Mr. Giancarlo, tell us more about that paper you authored where you argued that XRP is not a security and why it doesn't tick any of the prongs of that's more what I'd be more interested in. But it is kind of good to see him in a different light where he's actually pitching his, digital dollar project. I mean, I've never been a fan of, quite honestly, if you try to figure out all the fiat that's actually physically in circulation, you couldn't put what exists in digital form, which is basically what shows up on your phone or your computer when you're looking at your bank. It's in digital form right now. It's just another lame excuse. Is it sitting in a wallet? No. Is it going to be on the blockchain? No. So what is the point to create something new just so you can call it a digital dollar? It's not going to, it's still going to be centralized. It's still going to be the same thing. It's just you're going to call it something different and you're going to mint more of it. So to me,
it's programmable.
It is programmable. You can program somebody right out of using it, like program at a point of like, well, oh, you've been dispersed this by the government, and oh, I'm sorry, we're going to stop it so it ceases to exist.
You have de-dispersed.
Yeah, you've been de-dispersed, undispersed. You've been undispersed. You have been canceled. Sorry, you have been canceled. You will now be, or you cannot spend your digital dollars anywhere because they don't buy anything because they're permanently marked. That's okay. I like my current digital fiat thing. I'll take what I have. We don't need to reinvent it. So yeah, I think everyone's jumped on this bandwagon. You can look throughout history where people would turn into madness, where they went like, there were times where they go like, oh, we have to, if you put a hole in your head, it releases the mad and it gets all the crazy out of it. No, it puts a hole in your head and then it's like you're exposed, like, but everyone's like, and then the scientists got involved, right? And there was
the best.
Yeah, there was a time where the leeches was another one. There was a time where they thought like, hey, you know what? As long as they didn't realize what bacteria was, so they're like operating on people and their hands are dirty and throwing dirty tools in there and stuff. They didn't know what bacteria was, couldn't see it. They didn't know why people got sick, and ended up dying, right? So there's a time where now the time is CBDC. We all have to do it. It's all blockchain. We all have to do it. And to me, I mean, I don't think it really matters much anyway, because blockchain is a different animal. Decentralization is what equals freedom. It's decentralized. It's moving away from governments. And that article you put up before about how we used to be decentralized and how we go back to earlier times. There were 3 times where we said no Fed, and then the Fed came in. And there's a really great story about the last time that happened. But that system only usually gets 40, 50 years before it dies out. And Andrew Jackson was the last one to, basically quash that. And what do they try to do to him? They try to take him out multiple ways. The press try to take him out. They try to get him on scandals and this and that. They try to basically defraud him out of winning all kinds of Well, wait a minute, Jeff. That sounds like stuff from current day. But no, that was what they tried to do with him. Why? Because he wanted to get rid of the Federal Reserve back down, that incarnation, which he did. And then it came back in the early 1900s again.
right.
And so there you are.
That's right. I'm trying to find this article. It seems that the article is gone. I don't understand how
That happens sometimes.
they just delete articles right off of Yahoo Finance. But it was an awesome article because it was the CEO of Career Builder. And the CEO of Career Builder was explaining that there weren't enough job seekers in the market coming to his platform. Why? Because all of these gig workers, these instead of seeking full-time gig careers on Career Builder, they were actually trading cryptocurrency. And since they're trading cryptocurrency, they're no longer coming looking for jobs. This was his idea. I said, hey, that's amazing. I mean, that's just unbelievable that there's that much retail adoption of the cryptocurrency, not just adoption, but they're day trading and they're making a living off of it. That's amazing. Probably not true, but amazing.
Probably
I mean, there's
not
a lot
true.
of people, there's people that are making money, but not to the extent that it's impacting his website and the job market, because instead of looking for a job, people are making money trading cryptocurrency. Now, I don't remember the rest of the article. I was hoping to put it up, but it's gone.
Well, at least you read it, Jeff. But could it also be? Could it also be
Yeah.
that they were getting an extra boost for unemployment, and they were making a lot of people are making more money sitting home than actually working? I don't know. Could have something to do with it.
Maybe that's what he should have focused on.
Just speculating at this moment in time. But look at this. What are your thoughts about this? First time junk bonds will be used to fund a cryptocurrency acquisition.
Boom.
They are you. They're. I mean, I gotta
don't even
at
know
some
anymore.
point. At some point, you got to go beyond, Jeff. I mean, selling debt to buy more Bitcoin, and this he's quadrupled down. I don't know. Is what could possibly go wrong here? I mean, I'm a big fan of.
I don't know.
I'm a big fan of Sailor,
He's,
but I think now we're starting to get into crazy territory. No,
now he's leveraging everything.
right?
I mean, this is like selling every one of your assets and putting it all into Bitcoin, and that's it, and hoping for the best, And so, and there's people that have done that, and people that have done really well with that, But this guy, he's doing that. He's putting everything into it. I mean, everyone's going to have their risk tolerance. His risk tolerance is off the charts. But look at where he is. Look at what he's built. Look what he's done. His whole career off the charts. But he's leveraged his available fiat so much that look where he's at right now. I mean, it's amazing. He made like $4 billion in off of Bitcoin investments. Where's his average buy-in right now? Now it's 35,000. His first buy-in was 10. So if you average it out, the guy's still going to be way ahead.
Well, he can cover it. See, if you look at 500 million of senior secured notes, an annual interest rate of 6.125%. Yeah, he can cover that easily because he's basically going in. He already has the capital to cover that. It says the straight debt is being priced at 6.12% in a high coupon relative to the high yield market, which trades anywhere from 3 to 4%. So the debt's being priced in a low single B or potentially triple C type credit. So, you can call him crazy. It's 500 million, but he buys in at 37,000, goes back up to 50, pays off the debt, and keeps the house money, right? And rotates that out because
it's interesting.
It is an interesting play. It's also sort of a risk play because now you're getting a little bit more risk tolerance. But like you said, Jeff, you at least have that in the background to know that he's not going to get left holding the bag because he has enough to cover. And I think that's why it might be more potentially possible for people to buy that.
It's amazing. It's really amazing. So look at Victor saying, that's true. I'm from Nigeria, not working for anyone, training people to make money with crypto via trading, airdrop, staking, etc. That's awesome. Kudos to Victor for helping, his local community find a way to make money and leverage their assets to make more money. And how great is that? Teaching them how to do it. I mean, that's awesome. That's
it's the old
fantastic.
adage, Jeff. You can give somebody a fish or you can teach them how to fish and they eat for a lifetime. There's something really about that. If you teach somebody a skill, they can go ahead and they can make a life's work out of it. So, I mean, to me, especially getting into something new and explaining that for, people, it's fantastic. I want to remind everybody that, we're broadcasting here 6 days a week, Sunday through Thursday, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. And also on Saturday mornings, Jeff does his solo gig at 8 a.m. And subscribe. We always say this, but subscribe. There's a lot of new people that bounce in here. Go ahead, click that like button. hit the subscription button, and then you have to hit that bell notifier. I think only like 20% of all of the subscribers hit the bell notifier, and that says, hey, these guys are broadcasting, because you're busy. You're not going to remember. Except for the
8 p.m. Eastern
diehards.
Standard Time and 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hit
That's
that. Eastern.
Eastern time. That's right. And
And guess what, Chip? Tomorrow night you're going to be streaming solo.
Why is that, Jeff?
I've got a meeting.
Oh, too much could go wrong. Too much could go wrong. You see what happened? You see what already went wrong?
And I might bounce in. He froze up. All that good time, all that the hour in. I'll try to make it for the last segment. I think I did it last time. We have a great meeting. Tomorrow we're actually bringing in someone that is going to be running for Congress. I think she's running. I think this is her second or third time running. She's up against a lot, taking on the candidate she's going to take on. So it's going to be really interesting, the meeting that we have tomorrow night. And I'm going to unfortunately miss the beginning of the stream. I might make it for the last segment. So if
I'll be
not,
sure on my
I'll
screen.
check everybody else out again on Saturday. I won't be here. Yeah. Tomorrow.
Gotcha. I'm having all kinds of issues here. All right, we'll see you guys in the next one.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.